What's going on, everybody? Doug Price here from the Agave Social Club podcast. On the latest episode of the show, I featured Codigo 1530. I had Colin De Laval on the show. He is their national mixologist. He leads all their corporate training. This is a guy who, a big agave nerd, Mezcal nerd. He helped bring their new Mezcal to the market. We talked about that. But Codigo 1530, this is a brand that does have celebrities involved. So is this a celebrity brand? Yes, if we have to claim that since celebrities are involved, it constitutes as a celebrity brand, then yes, this is a celebrity brand. But here's the thing. This is a tequila that is made right. This is 100% confirmed additive free. They've gone through the Tequila Matchmaker program. And while we may say this is a celebrity brand, which we do talk about that, it's hard to not talk about that when you've got George Strait and some others involved with this. The reality is this is a recipe that has been made for private batch for a few private families in a Matatan. So this isn't something brand new that they got together and they said, hey, let's create something for the market. They were friends with Federico Vaughn, who's one of the main founders of Codigo 1530, and he had this relationship with this family. So as he's hanging out with these guys for years, he's bringing them this tequila in water bottles, saying, hey, try this, try that. And over time, as they really fell in love with this tequila, they started going, hey, is there a play here to bring this to a larger audience? We go through their entire lineup. We talk through the process of how they're making their tequila. They are doing some things that are very different. One, at the distillery where this is being made, their whole area is just for them. All the machinery, everything that they're using, low pressure autoclave, they've got some form of a shredder that was made especially for them. No one else is making tequila in this area. They're using a bread yeast from a local bakery in a Matatan for fermentation. And then a lot of their aged expressions, I mean, there is a wine influence here. And not just any wine barrels, they're getting some of the best wine barrels around. And I even asked the question to Colin as, this brand was starting to be formed. Were these guys like George Strait or Ron Snyder or some of the other guys involved in the early stages, were they trying to gear this towards something? There are a lot of brands, there are a lot of celebrity brands that say, hey, we want to hit this market or hit this demographic, and they're designing a product for that. And Colin said, no, you can either make a tequila by process or design. And the entire step of the way, we did not touch on design at all. It was all about process. And because these guys loved the tequila that they had been drinking for years, they didn't question the process. They said, this is exactly how we want to keep it. So Codigo 1530, they are paying homage to the history. In 1530, that's when Matatan, that area was founded. Codigo, the codes, they've got the Jerusalem cross there. They're tying in a lot of the history for Codigo 1530. And we walk through, they've got a Blanco. They do have a Rosa Blanco as well. We're starting to see a lot more of those. Codigo really was one of the first most well-received Rosa Blancos. And then they've got their Reposado, their Añejo. They do have an extra Añejo. They've got some other variations where, with George Strait, that he's got some expressions there for an Añejo, for the extra Añejo. And because they do have some names behind this brand, and Colin even touched on this, time is on their side. Budgets are on their side. They can mess around and go, hey, let's try this in these barrels and see what we get from this. The process is all going to be done really well, additive free, very mature agaves, but they do have some flexibility to experiment where other brands may not. They do have a high proof, which is a still strength Blanco, that they're going to be launching soon as well. So we walk through the whole process. This is a solid tequila. I'll be honest, once we hit that Añejo, the price does jump up. So, you start to get into that comparison game for this much money. Maybe there's some other things I'd be looking at, but a very solid showing throughout their entire lineup. And then recently, they did get into the Mezcal space, talking about their friends in Oaxaca making amazing traditional ancestral Mezcal. They eventually said, hey, let's have them make some for us and get involved in this process, and then put the Codigo 1530 spin on it as they have done with their Mezcals. We talk about all that through the episode, so if you want to know what they're doing, make sure you listen to the entire episode. They've got two Mezcals, both equally delicious. The Ancestral, they are kicking this old school. I mean, much respect to how they are making this mezcal. So I would love for you to check out this episode. Codigo 1530, you can find them anywhere. I've seen them at high-end liquor stores. I've seen them at Walmart. I've seen them on cruise ships. I mean, their distribution really is massive. SipTequila.com is the sponsor of the show. You can purchase Codigo 1530 on SipTequila.com's website. So if you are looking to purchase some, man, just go there. Buy it, they'll ship it straight to your door. You'll have it within a few days. I hope you check out this episode with Codigo 1530. Now, I also want to give you a heads up not to miss the next episode of the Agave Social Club podcast. This is a recap where Fortaleza brought me down to their distillery so that we could try Winter Blend 2022. We walked through the recap of the trip. Man, such an amazing time with some really awesome people. Winter Blend 2022 is coming. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure you're checking out the next episode. If you want to continue to learn about tequila, make sure you're subscribing to this channel so you're not missing any of these videos, and you go back through and you listen to other episodes of the Agave Social Club podcast. I'm Doug Price, and thanks for watching.